I'd like to welcome y'all back to another episode of Beyond the Fear podcast, a place where y'all come to get some motivation, inspiration, and it's just some positive words. I'm your host, DJ, and today's episode is a very simple concept, a very simple thought. I know we've all heard it, but sometimes we forget it, especially when we're starting new journeys and trying new things, and that's you gotta crawl before you can walk, walk before you can run. And I got several examples of that, for myself. The first example I'll use is starting the podcast, like me starting my podcast. I think in the beginning, before I started my podcast, I wanted everything to look perfect. I wanted everything to sound perfect. So I'm out here, buying equipment that I don't really know how to use. At the time, really couldn't even afford it. You know, because I just, what I'm saying, because I'm looking at other people's podcasts, not even thinking, okay, these guys, some of these people who they've been doing their podcast for 4, 5, 6, 7, however many years, and I'm just day one, and I want my day one to look like other people's year 6, year 10, and I had to get out of that unrealistic expectation because I don't have the experience, I don't have the knowledge, and I don't have a crew. It's just me. So you know what I'm saying? I'm doing it by myself. And so once I finally got over this thought of wanting everything to look perfect, to sound perfect, to be for everything to be on point, once I got past that and I just realized, okay, man, just hit record and just start putting stuff out. Like even if it's not where I wanted to be right now, at least I'm putting something out. At least I'm starting it. At least I'm doing it. So I had to realize that, I have to crawl first. I have to start low. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to start at the highest level because that's not realistic for me. I don't have, like I just said, I don't have the understanding, the experience, the know-how, the knowledge to get there. Now, could I watch some YouTube videos and figure some things out and probably reached out to some people who may have at least tried the podcasting thing to, get some advice? Sure. And that's something that I do now. But even with, getting the advice, there were certain things that I just couldn't do because at the time I couldn't afford it. So even when I was talking to people and they were giving me, hey, you need to get this piece of equipment, you need to get that, it was just stuff that at the time I couldn't really afford to do. So I just had to kind of get over this notion of my podcast needs to be the best quality, best visual and audio quality in the world, and look at it more like, let me give it the best visual and audio quality that I can give it right now. And so I had to get out of that mindset of this needs to be A1 professional level. And you know what I'm saying? And just being honest with myself, it just needs to be the best that I can do right now, which is just my phone, this little mic that I have. You know what I'm saying? This is what I could do for the time. And as I continue to build and as I continue to save, I can start to invest more money into whatever it is that I'm trying to do, so that I can get the sound and the visuals to the quality that I wanted to be. But it's okay to start small. It's okay to start wherever you are with, if that's the bottom level, basement level, whatever it is, it's okay to start there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not about where you start, it's about where you finish. And you know what I'm saying? As long as you're making progress, it doesn't matter if your progress is fast, your progress is slow, your progress is medium, whatever it is, as long as you're making progress, as long as, you're getting better, whether it's more confident, whether it's better with your projection, better with your sound, better with, holding a conversation, whatever it is that you're trying to do, as long as you're getting better, but I feel like sometimes we forget that we need to crawl before we can walk, and then walk before we can run. And another example of that was, with I've been juicing, my mother and I have been juicing a lot lately. And, and I just thought to myself, cause we had like a bunch of juice from the last haul that we did. And my thought process was, man, you know what? I'm gonna go on a all liquid, no solid, fast for 3 days. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. 3 days ain't a long time until I tried to do it. Day one, got through it, no problem. Day two, got through with work, came home. I'm sitting here and I'm just like, you know what? Nah, I can't do it. So I broke down. I broke down. So it was like a day and a half or something like that. I didn't do the full 3 days, but even in that, I can still say, okay, I did make it through a day and a half. Now I need to learn how to build on that. And maybe going for 3 days wasn't, it sounded good at the time. Like my mom told me when I said, no, I'm finna eat something, she was like, yeah, them 3 days sounded good. And it did sound good. But, cool. I just need to start off with what should have been a more realistic goal for myself. You know what I'm saying? I know people are probably listening like, oh, 3 days ain't nothing. And they might not be to you. And that's perfectly fine. But for me, it was more than what I thought it was going to be. It was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. And it was just a mental thing because physically I was fine. I wasn't hungry or anything. It was just a mental thing. It was it weighed more on me mentally than I thought that it would. It bothered me mentally more than I thought. I broke down mentally because physically I wasn't hungry. It wasn't anything like that because I was doing the juice and drinking water. So for me, it was just all mental. Everything that went wrong, on the second night was just mental stuff. And so now that I have an idea of what it's going to take for me personally, mentally, I can do a better job of it. And now my goal would be to finish 2 days, you know what I'm saying? And then if once I'm able to do that, go to 3 days and then eventually try to get to a week. That's like my end goal. But I know I don't want to, obviously I know that don't want to start there because I couldn't even get through 3 days. But you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at the brighter side of it, which is you got through a day and a half or however, you know what I'm saying, however it is. And not to give myself no consolation prize. I did aim for 3 days and I missed the mark and I gotta, accept that and own that. Excuse me. But it's okay because I'm crawling. I'm in my crawling phase, and I made it through a day. Cool. My next step is to make it through two and then so on and so forth until I can get to um 7 days. And you know what I'm saying? And that's my process. And so for me, I have to realize that it's okay to crawl. You don't have to be walking and running right away. You're trying something new. You're trying something different. You're going against your norms. I'm going against the grain. I'm going against what I'm used to doing. So it's okay to go through your crawling phase. It's okay when you got to take things literally one step at a time. You got to literally go one day, one step at a time. And I think that sometimes we get these ideas in our heads and we think that, oh, it's so easy because we see other people doing it or we see a lot of people doing it or it's the new way, whatever the case may be. And we think that things are a lot easier than what they really are. And then it's also because the people that we're watching doing it probably have been doing it for so long that they make it look a lot easier than what it is. Because you got people out here who will make fasting look so easy, who will make running marathons, podcasting, whatever it is that you're trying to get into. You have people when you watch them who've been doing it for so long, or you just have people who are just naturally good at something that when they pick it up, they make it look easier than what it is because they're just naturally good at certain things. You know what I'm saying? There are going to be things that you're naturally good at that when you pick it up for the first time, it's like, oh man, this ain't nothing. And you might feel like you're struggling because you might not be excelling the way you normally excel in the things that you normally do. But for someone who's just picking something up, for people who've struggle with it and know how hard it is, they can look at you and be like, man, no, you're really killing it. You're really doing a great job for someone who just started. You're making it look very easy, but because of your own standards, you might look at it and be like, no, I'm not doing well enough. But to the outside people who know the struggle, who know how hard it is to do what you're doing, just starting something and just picking it up for the first time, they'll say, man, you're really doing well, or you're doing very great and it's just something that you're very natural at. And so there are things that I'm very natural at that when I go in, I can pick it up instantly. There are certain jobs when I go to, I'm just picking it up quick because it's just certain things that I can do natural when it comes to operating machines, when it comes to like the forklifts and things like that. Those are things that I just can pick up very, very naturally. Those are things that you can give me a couple of hours with the machine to kind of learn to get a feel for it. And I'm driving it like I'm a 10-year, 20-year pro. So there are certain things that people do naturally that, you know what I'm saying, would, like, if you was to see me get on something for the first time, like one of those pieces of machinery, and you see me operating it, like you come back in like 3-4 hours and I'm operating it the way I'm operating it, I would make it look easy. I would make people think, oh, anybody can get on this and learn just that quick and make it look as good as I make it look. And that's not the case. It's just certain things come natural to people. So there are some people who could pick up the juicing thing and fast and not do the solids and make it look easy. There's people who can pick up a camera and a mic and get in front of it and do the podcasting thing and make it look natural, make it look easy. Whatever it is, being a leader, getting into leadership, whatever it is, you got your people who are naturally gifted, and it just comes natural to them. They don't have to think about it. They don't have to work hard at it. They don't have to study it. It's just something that just comes to them. You explain it to them, they get it. Now they got to go, you know what I'm saying, obviously work with whatever it is that they're working with, get it down, and then now they have it. They got to play with it a little bit, and then they have it. You have people who are like that. And then you got your people who really got to study, who really got to work, who really got to put the time in, put the work in, put the effort and energy in to get to that level that some people can be at naturally. And that's okay. But no matter what it is, you always need to crawl before you walk. Now, some people's crawling phases are very short. So like I said, for me, when it comes to power equipment, in that warehouse, things like that, my crawling phase is going to be, for the most part, very small because, like I say, I'm the type of person I can get on the machine, start to figure out, okay, this moves it up, down, left, right, tilt up, tilt down. Okay, this steers, this is how the steering works. You know what I'm saying? So for me, my crawling phase when it comes to stuff like that is very short. And then now I'm walking, and then I'm running and I'm doing my thing. And now you can just let me go do my thing. You don't have to supervise me because you can trust me to go. You can trust that I know how to do this machine. I can pass whatever test you need me to pass. But when it comes to, like, for example, like I just said, the fasting or the podcasting thing, for me, these are things where my crawling phase is going to be a lot longer because these are very new to me. These are very different things for me. And so it takes a lot more mental strength than, the warehouse side of things. Because the warehouse side of things I can pick up without really thinking about. That's something that you can just put me in that atmosphere. You can put me in those surroundings, and you know what I'm saying, I can get to it. I can learn whatever it is that I need to learn, whatever the new system is, the new process, for, receiving, for shipping, for put away, for picking, whatever it is, I can learn and I can go. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't take much brain power, much mental power for me to get those concepts or the new verbiage or whatever it is and go. But with things that I'm not familiar with, it takes way more mental it takes way more mental fortitude, especially like with the fasting. It takes a lot more mental fortitude than I originally thought. I thought it was just going to be as simple as, man, I'm not even hungry, and that's what I thought it was. I thought I was going to have to fight my hunger. I thought I was going to have to be fighting, my stomach growling and things like that. And that's not the case. What I had to fight was just my urge to want to eat. You know what I'm saying? Not because I was hungry, but just because I'm around food, or just because I smell food, or just because I see someone else eating. Now I just want to eat. It was more of a mental thing. I thought it was going to be more of like me just fighting my urge to want to eat, my fighting like hunger. I thought I was going to be hungry. I thought my stomach was going to be growling. I thought I was going to be like, oh, my stomach, let me go get something to eat, or oh, I just need something to eat, or oh, I want something to eat. And that wasn't the case. My body wasn't the problem. My body dealt with it just fine. It was good. It was my mental. It was the fact that now that I'm at home, just knowing that there's food in the refrigerator or knowing that there's food in the freezer and wanting to eat it, that was my problem. And because I didn't, because mind you, I did this on a whim. And when I thought about it, when I thought about um, doing it, I didn't even think about, okay, what about when you get home, you good, stomach ain't nothing, but it's just food in there. Just the fact that it's food in there, just the fact that it's food in the refrigerator, you know, you gonna want to eat. And I didn't think about that. That never came into my mind. The only thing that came to my mind is, okay, I'm gonna have to fight the moments when my stomach starts to growl, and that wasn't even the issue. So now that I have a better idea of what I'm facing, the next time I challenge myself, number one, I'm gonna set a more realistic goal for myself, which I know for a fact I can do a day. I know that. So now let's just up it up. Let's just up it to 2 days. Let's just complete 2 days, and then we'll go to 3 days. You know what I'm saying? And again, I know that there's people out there who hearing this, and it's just like, what's the difference between 2 and 3 days? And again, there are people that there is no difference. You know, y'all can do it with no problem. But for someone who got through the first day and didn't make it through the second day, my goal now changes to getting through the second day. And then once I'm able to do that, go for the third day. And if I'm able to do that, good, I've completed it. Cool. You know what I'm saying? And then, try a 4-day challenge at another time, whatever the case may be. But I'm just saying that to say, no matter what it is that you're doing, take it one day at a time, take it step by step. Don't worry about how fast the next person's doing it. Even if y'all start at the same time and you see someone else progressing faster than you, that's okay. This may be something that they're naturally better at. This may be something that for them, whatever their natural God given gifts are, their natural abilities are, this may be geared more towards them. Whatever this new challenge is, y'all trying it together. You can't get focused or frustrated about, you can't focus on their progress and you can't get frustrated about their progress. You have to focus on what you're doing and taking it one day at a time, because excuse me, what I've learned is it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. So even if they start off better than you or start off progressing faster than you, they may hit a wall. And because you're doing slow and steady and you're progressing at a whatever your normal rate is or whatever a good rate is for you, you get to your point where they are and they've hit this wall, and now their progression has just slowed down, but yours has stayed steady. You know what I'm saying? And so it's all about how you finish. So it doesn't matter how you start, it doesn't matter how fast you start, it doesn't matter when you start. You know what I'm saying? All those things don't matter. It's just keep going, no matter how slow the progress. As long as there's progress, as long as you're taking that step, as long as you're moving an inch and you're moving in the right direction. Let me make sure I say that too. As long as you're progressing and not regressing. So as long as you're moving in the right direction, I don't care how small or how slow the movement is, as long as you're going in the right direction. It's okay to crawl when you need, because you need to crawl. This is something very new to you. These are foreign lands to you, foreign concepts, foreign terminologies. Everything might be new to you because you're trying something new. And it's okay to crawl while you learn. You're learning. But at some point, you're going to be able to pick yourself up and you're going to be able to walk. And as you're walking, you're continuing to learn. And then at some point, you'll be able to run, but don't rush that process, because you rush that process to start trying to walk before you're ready. Then you stumble and you fall. And the problem with falling is sometimes it takes so much energy to get back up that some people don't want to do it. And again, I'm talking from experience as someone who has always been quick to, when I fall, I don't want to get back up. And I for damn sure don't want to try, especially like if I fall and in me falling, I regress a few steps. And now I got to try to work. And now I got to work to get back up. And then I got to work even more to get back to where I was, to get back to making my progress. And that's a very tough and defeating feeling. It can be a very tough and defeating feeling. So as someone who knows that and someone who understands that and who's lived that for many, many years, I can understand the beauty of slow progress. I can understand the beauty of crawling. I can understand the beauty of walking. I can understand the beauty of just hitting those little check marks and those milestones piece by piece, and just taking one piece of the test at a time, what I'm saying, as opposed to just looking as opposed to just worrying about the finished product. I can appreciate, let me just learn this first. Okay, now that I learned that, let me master it. Okay, I mastered it. Now let me go learn something new. I can understand the back when I was younger, mine moving a little faster than, what I'm saying, back then. I wouldn't have appreciated that process of learning one thing and then doing my best to master it before I go learn something new. For me, it was learn this. Okay, I got a pretty decent grasp of this. Okay, now let me go learn that. And so the problem was, is I'm learning the new thing, I'm forgetting a good bit of the stuff that I just learned because I never got a full understanding, a full grasp of it, and I didn't master it. I didn't take the time to master it. So in my mind, it was just learn as much as I can, as quick as I can, when I should have just been learning as much as I can and mastering it before I go learn something new, to have a complete understanding and a complete concept of it, to where if I left it alone for a month and went and learned something new for a month, I could still come back to what I was learning in the beginning, and I could still understand it so well because I have such a complete understanding of it that I can go away for a month, come back after that month and still pick up where I left off. You know what I'm saying? But again, my mind and my understanding wasn't at that point. I wasn't at that level at the time. It took a lot of bumping my head, a lot of tripping and falling, a lot of dumb mistakes, a lot of dumb decisions. It took a lot of mess ups, a lot of ruined opportunities to get me to the point that I am now. So as much as I hate it, as much as I hate the time, the years that were wasted, with me wanting to stay in my comfort zone and me wanting to continue to make decisions that I knew weren't good for me, that I knew were just going to keep me right where I was, that wasn't going to help build me up. I had to go through it because because I was very stubborn in some of the worst ways. So life, whatever you believe in, but God had to break me down. Had to had to break me down to start building me back up. So I had to hit my lowest point. I had to, because I was out in Houston enjoying life, and life had to hit me, and I had to come back home and be back living with my mom for me to, I had to hit rock bottom, and I had to realize, okay, things got to change. Something has to give, and I had to go through what I went through with the job that I was talking about earlier, with the guy constantly lying to me about, hey, you're going to be doing this, but right now I need you doing this, and just lying to me every single week, week after week, just constantly lying to me and stringing me along. I had to go through that. I had to be broken. I had to realize that, okay, if you really believe that enough is enough and you're done and you're tired and you don't want to do this anymore, if you truly believe that, then let's start making changes. What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to sacrifice to get to what you want? If you're serious about this, if you're serious about making these changes, show me that you're serious. And so I had to go through all of that. I had to go through years of, like I said, just doing dumb things, making dumb decisions, continuing to be stubborn, even though I know, hey, I've walked this path enough times to where I know there's nothing there. It's a dead end at the end of this path, but it's the path that I know. I much rather travel the path that I know than to try this new path that's scary, unknown, don't know what's at the end of it, I don't know what to expect. That's just too scary for me. That's just too much for me right now. I'm gonna continue walking this dead end path, and when I hit my head, bump the road, hit the end of the road, hit that brick wall and I have to reset and restart from the very beginning, I'm okay with that. And that was my life for years, just going down that road. And so when I tell people that I'm proud of where I am and who I am right now in this moment, I mean that, because I know how many times I've walked down that dead end path just to hit that brick wall and have to start all over and do it all over again. Now that I'm walking this path that's new, that's uncharted for me, but I'm walking this new path, and there's so many ways that these roads can go. There's so many things to branch off into, because there's so many options. Because now that I'm willing to take those leaps of faith, and now that I'm willing to walk my path, and now that I'm willing to go find my purpose, and I'm not scared of the failure, I'm not scared of the hurt, I'm not scared of the letdown, and I'm not allowing these fears of these things to stop me from walking and finding my purpose. Now that I'm starting to see all of these potential opportunities. And I'm not saying that the fear isn't there. I'm not saying that there isn't fear. I'm not saying that I'm not scared. I'm not saying any of those things. I'm just saying I'm not allowing the fear of these things to stop me. Is there still some fear there? Of course, I'm human. So naturally, there's a natural fear of the unknown, but I'm not allowing my fear to stop me. I'm still continuing to take one step at a time. I'm still continuing to move forward one day at a time. But I'm proud of where I am now. I'm not where I need to be, but I can honestly today, as of today, I can look back where I was 4, 5 months ago, and obviously years ago, and see that I'm a better version of myself today than I was back then. I'm a lot further in life today than I was back then, because I'm willing to take the steps in the right directions. I'm no longer trying to go down the path that I've been down before, that I know is a dead end path. I'm walking this new path where I don't know where it's going to lead. I don't know where the next turn is. I don't know where the next pothole is. I don't know anything, because this is something new for me, but I'm okay with that, and I'm okay with walking it. But I had to do a lot of crawling just to get to this point. And I'm still crawling, because there's still so many things that I'm learning and I'm accepting and I'm trying to get past. And there's a lot of healing that I'm doing, and a lot of forgiving that I'm doing. And I'm hoping that people can forgive me for the things that I've done. So it's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm still crawling, but for me, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with going as slow as I need to go, moving one step at a time, taking it one day at a time, whatever I need to do. As long as I'm not moving backwards and I'm not standing still, I'm okay with it. I don't care if I'm just doing a little shuffle, what I'm saying, sliding my feet. I don't care. But as long as I'm doing that in the right direction and moving forward, that's all that matters to me, because I don't want to go back to who I used to be. And I don't want to go back to that bubble of my comfort zone. So each and every day, I'm doing my best to keep myself out of my comfort zone, to keep myself out of those old traps that keep popping their head up every now and then. And it's a struggle every single day not to go back, but I'm okay with that struggle. I'm okay with that fight. I'm okay with pushing myself to be better and to do better, even if I'm not always seeing even if I'm not always seeing the progress. I know it's there. I know at some point there are going to be days when I go through something and I feel the way that I react, or I feel my energy, and I'm like, okay, I remember there was a time when I would have reacted this way, or I remember there was a time when this person or that person or this situation would have gotten a certain type of energy out of me, and I'm not giving that negative energy, and I'm not giving those negative reactions. I'm reacting calmly. I'm reacting peacefully. I'm giving calm reactions. So even though I may not always see the progress, there's going to be an event or something that happens that shows me, okay, I am at least headed in the right direction. I am doing better. I may not be where I want to be, but I'm a lot further than where I was. And so I'm proud of that. And you got to be proud of the work that you've done. It's not always about the finished product. It's okay to just stop. It's okay to just look at your situation for a second and just be proud of the fact that you're not where you used to be. It's okay that you're still working. It's okay that you're not where you want to be. as long as you're still working towards that. But it's also good and it's okay that you're not where you used to be. You're not that same person. You're not going through those same struggles because you finally learned your lesson and you're moving forward. That's something to be proud of. That's something to cheer and celebrate. You know what I'm saying? Because you're learning, you're growing, you're getting better, you're doing the things that you need to do. And that's okay. And that's good. That is great. Do that. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to always focus on, oh man, I got so much of my journey left. Or, oh man, I'm not where I need to be. I've been working for 2 years or 3 years, whatever it is, and I'm still not where I need to be. That's okay. But in those 2 or 3 years, if you can also look the other way and be like, man, but I'm so much further than where I was, it's okay to celebrate that. It's okay to be proud of that. And it's okay to still be motivated to keep pushing forward. Use both of them as motivation. Use the fact that you're a lot further than where you used to be to motivate you to propel yourself to where you want to be. You know what I'm saying? I think too many times we just focus on we're not where we want to be after so many years of working that we don't ever take the time to also look at the fact that I'm better than what I was. I'm in a better place mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally than where I used to be. So I'm on the right path. I might not be at my destination yet, and that's okay. But at least I'm on the right path. At least I'm walking down the right road and I'm making the right choices. I'm making better choices than what I was making. We got to celebrate the small things. We got to celebrate those little things because they do matter. It's those little things that add up to big things. It's those little changes that we make in life that add up to big life changes. So whatever little things, whatever little wins that you're having, celebrate them, enjoy them, because those little ones add up into big changes, into big wins. So celebrate all of your little small things while you're crawling and while you're walking. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to start off running. Not all of us are able to do that. We got to go through our crawling phases where we're learning and we're absorbing and we're trying to gain as much knowledge as we possibly can to where we can pick ourselves up and start walking and we start to master our whatever it is, whatever realm you're in, you start to master those things. And once you master them, now you're running and you know what I'm saying? Now you can't be stopped, but everybody's phases are different. You know what I'm saying? Some people may be able to get to running within 2 years. It might take you 6, 7 years to get to that running part. It doesn't matter as long as you're moving forward and you're progressing and you're doing what you need to do. But I mean, just to wrap everything up, man, it is okay to crawl. Go through your crawling phase. At some point, you will be able to pick yourself up and you will be able to start walking. And then at some point, you will start to run. But go through your phases and don't rush them, because when you rush, that's when you fall. And when you fall, you take so much energy getting yourself back up and then getting yourself back to where you was, to the moment where you fell, and then to keep moving forward. So take your time, don't rush, go through all of your phases to get to where you need to be and have your craft mastered. But again, I want to thank everybody who's listening on any of the platforms that you're listening on. I thank y'all for taking time to listen. And anybody who's watching on YouTube, y'all already know. Again, thank y'all. I appreciate everything that y'all do. Please comment, like, and subscribe and share it. I want to continue growing all 2024. And y'all have a blessed day.